Hey everybody, this is Andy's free guitar chart videos, and it's time for another lesson. And I'm going to be we're looking at charts number like 128, 129, and I started a new chart today, 130. But since the wife is out, I want to get the lesson started this morning. After reviewing yesterday's lesson, I saw I made one mistake, where I actually had a 7 fret fretboard going. That wasn't intentional. I don't work with 7 fret fretboards unless it shows the 6 fret window, and the 7 fret just happens to be a virtual fret. So we'll get started here. This is where we left off, and this particular is 127 rolling modal fretboard, string magic cage, and modal circles. Today we're just going to be focusing on, we're not going to be doing the modes, going around in circles, playing the different shapes and everything. We spent practically 2 lessons doing that. And that's a subject matter in itself that's been covered before. There's lots of ways to play the modal chords. You can arpeggiate them. You can play the chords. You can do a pentatonic scale for them, or you can even substitute with the minors. You can substitute the relative majors, which is 1 pentatonic scale up. So if your minor is a E minor shaped D minor, such as here in the modal circle of D, so you've got a D shaped root in the key of C. This is a key of C, fretboard. You got 5 root 3 right there, a second inversion, C up there, or maybe up there, and the D minor, or the second minor, the Dorian of this shape, this D shape banner here covers this D shape, would be an E shape, because you go from the D shape to the E shape. So these are shapes, and this applies to all keys, but the color patterns up here don't apply to all keys, and I'll show you why. So we're looking at the C here. Now I have the big numbers here, and I'm working on a new chart, but I'll be finishing that later tonight when I do my charting, which is just quiet work. But now since nobody's home and it's 10:30 in the morning, we could do a lesson. So you see the color. Excuse me. I still have a cold, and I had a little episode last night where I lost some sleep. So you can see the color patterns here. The E note, this low E note here, and you can even see the green notes on the guitar there. That is the E note. No matter what number's on it, it's an E note. So you can see why this is in the key of C, because it's put the 3 on that E note, which would be like, there's your E note there, there's the A note, there's the D note, there's the G note, the B note, that third, and then back up to the E. Now these are going in fourths on the way up, note by note, but if you look at them in cage shapes, okay, now how are we going to look at them in cage shapes? So here we are. We were just playing a little bit of, we did E, we did A, we did the D, we did the G, we did the B, we did the E, and then it would go on up. This is not warped over. So this is a pure P4 pattern, all perfect fourths. Is if you could play this pattern like as is if your guitar was tuned like this. then everything would be an E-shaped. The A would be an E-shaped A. The D would be an E-shaped D. So the warping of the top two strings gives the chords their shape, especially on the top three strings there. Well, involved with the top two strings. So, but what I was talking about was, so note for note, we're going in fourths. 3 goes to 6 in the key of C. That would be E. E would be the third of C. 6 would be the sixth. A would be the sixth of C. D would be the second of C in the next octave up. G would be the fifth of C, and B would be the seventh of C. So the seventh is always a half tone below the root note. Now, but if we assign a letter to each of these strings, instead of and we will be associating it with C, will be associated with 3, 4, 5. C will be associated with 3, 4, 5. So we're not trying to replace this and erase it from memory and just look at C. We're going to associate C with 3, 4, 5. We're going to associate G with 6, 7 root, D with 2, 3, 4, A with 5, 6, and we're going to associate E with 7 root 2. Now the strings go in fifths: C, G, D, A, E. Now the sixth string would be E going to C again, not E going to a B shape, because there is no B shape in caged. Now notice they spell caged, but they're out of order like that because these are in fifths, and caged is in pentatonic scale. So okay, caged is C, A, G, E, D. That's caged. It's a descending pentatonic scale. These are in fifths, so it'd be C, G, D, A, E. And then we have an augmented fifth back up to C. So we have the basic new string shape assignments, the key of C colors, but this over here, okay, without the colors, without even the bookends, because these bookends are characteristic of the key of C. You won't see them in the other keys as black note bookends. So over here we have an interesting diagram, which is the same thing, essentially. Okay, here's the C, here's the G shape, here's the D shape, here's the A shape, here's the E shape, with the banners that cover those shape cages. Okay, and then there's no colors here. There's no colors here, so this would apply to any key. Now, I want to show you where these came from, where they actually came from, and I guess this is the new chart. We haven't discussed this chart. Because yeah, this is the new chart. It's 129, and chart 129 says, if we could scroll it up here, it takes 10 years to do it sometimes. Keys of caged fretboard string shapes. Keys of caged. What are the keys of caged? C-A-G-E-D, right? But let's not get hung up on C-A-G-E-D or even D-E-G-A-C in that order. It is very useful. It's a very useful progression of letters, if you will, key of C letters. But we don't want to get hung up on that. It has a use, but it doesn't have, it isn't an absolute. And here's why. So the key of caged, by the way, is just C, A, G, E, and D. Those